So now that we've created this, let's start working on the database. So from the table that we've created, let's just copy all this and let's start MySQL workbench. So you can also start it on the uh, MySQL utilities, which is the command line version of MySQL, but on that it is quite hard to start and stop the server. On this, since it's a GUI, it's very easy. So here is a MySQL workbench where you can use it to create tables, make queries, etc. So inside this MySQL workbench, the first thing that you need to do is create a database connection. So just connect to a database, stored connection, nothing's been stored. IP hostname address is a local host. Port number, as I said, is a default one. Username is root. Now this is what we have given. This is what we've given in our program, as you can see right here in the JDBC construct. Sorry about that. In the JSP, we've given 3306. Example is the name of the database. 3306 is the port number, and root is the username. Nothing is the password. So similarly, in the JDBC workbench, we have username as root without any password. So we just click OK, and it will open an interface for you like so to work on. And the interface consists of a administration server status. So this will show you the status of the server. Currently the server is stopped, as you can see here. So how do you start the server? First and foremost, you have to start. So click on startup or shutdown on the navigator tab and click on start. If at all the navigator tab is not visible, it's because the schemas tab is selected instead of management. So click on management and then startup shutdown. So right here, click on start server, and as you can read here, the workbench will use shell commands, and if you're using command line, you have to type the shell commands on your own. Just that MySQL will do it for you right here using pre-built files. There, it's been connected. It says the SQL server is running now, so we can start executing. So we're going to create a new query. So as you can see, there are lots of options right here: SQL scripts, inspector, new schema, new table, new view, new stored, new function, a lot of stuff. So we'll just go to query here, and since you've already copied, just click paste. So create database example, select the database, create table user ID, press this thing. So to execute these lines of code, just click on start right there. That will execute all of them, and write down, you see what action is taken. So each statement that we've created has returned a positive response. That means each of them have been executed successfully, and all these values have been entered. So since I said this is GUI, you can also go in and see what and all have we created. So go to schemas tab. So I've already created one over here. This hasn't been updated yet, so just right click, refresh all. As you can see, the example is the database that I've created. As you can see here, click on the I. It's a pretty small one. Just click on that, and you get the example view. So here you get all the attributes of the database one by one right here. As you can see, the grants, these are the privileges that have been given to all of these hosts. So this is the thing. You can also double click on the user to get the attributes of that table. Like these are the two values, indexes, grants, and this is the DDL equivalent statement of what you have just written over there. So since we've already created, let's just minimize, let the server be running because we need that so that we can connect. So now since the server is running, these statements should execute without any problem. So as you can see, index.html and index.jsp. So let's just run, just compile, save the changes that have been made. As usual, click on finish. So the home page is created. Just refresh once so that any changes have been updated, and let's just enter. So in index.jsp we have three conditions. One is with right username and right password, right username and wrong password, and wrong username altogether. So let's try all three kind of conditions. So according to the database, the right username and right password is root, and the password is also root. Isn't that what we have created? So wait, that's wrong. Yeah, so root comma root, so it needs to be root as a username and root as a password. So if we log in, it should say welcome root. So as you can see, it's running. That means it's doing a lot of work on the back end, connecting to the SQL database, and here is the result. So it does say welcome root. So it has connected, it has checked that we have perfect login credentials and given us access. Now here's the second one. As you can see, the root has been, when I press back, the root stays but the password doesn't. So that these are the pros of using the password type. So this time we will give an incorrect password. I will type ABCD. So and then click login, and correctly it says password is incorrect. So password is incorrect, so it did work properly. And then if we come back to index.jsp again, the last one should be user does not exist. So I'll go back and give a wrong username, ABCD, and no matter what the password is, I'll actually give the right password. Doesn't matter, it will never check. So it says user does not exist. So all three have been executed properly. That means the connection to the database is working properly. Also, if you see, I've included an extra method or extra function over here called method in the index.html file. To see what is the use of this, I will delete this and rerun the entire code. So when I rerun it again, okay, so username and password, so I'll just refresh so that it works. So I'll give it as ABCD. ABCD should say user does not exist. So user does not exist. Good. But there is a problem. If you look at the URL, it actually says whatever I've typed. User ID is equal to ABCD and password is equal to ABCD. So anyone who's sitting behind you knows what you've just typed, which isn't supposed to happen. So how do you get rid of this? To get rid of this, you use a method in which it defines the method in which you pass the data from the index.html to the index.jsp. So you say equal to, gives you the two options. One is get and the other one is post. The get is the default function that displays whatever you pass in the URL itself, or you can choose the other one called post. Now if you choose post, what it does is it doesn't show what you're sending. So since you've done that, compile it, finish, and now let's see. So as usual, refresh once and type ABCD, exact same thing that I did last time, same response. But look at this, you do not get any kind of password or username being shown there, just the index.jsp. So this is the much more safer way to enter username and password. So this is how we create the login page, and how to check and how to connect to the database and check if the credentials of a login are correct. So now that we've created the first page, now let's say your project is not just going to be about just logging in, is it? It's going to be about multiple pages where one page connects to another. So after I've logged in, say I need to go to a menu page, a page with all options that I can go to. So what do? So first and foremost, you should go to the menu page only if you're logged in. And let's go to the if statement, which says that you successfully logged in, welcome user. So after this we should be redirecting it to a new HTML page, which should be menu.html. So how do you do that? So as I said, to get a parameter it uses a function called request. In the same way, to send a parameter it uses a function called response. So the two important functions in JSP or servlets is request and response. So whatever HTTP request it gets, you can read it, and whatever HTTP response you need to send, you can use the response function. So response dot send redirect. So this is the function, and inside this function we can give the name. You can give the name of the URL. So it will be similar to what we did before. So it will be http colon / localhost. It's going to be a file within web content again. So it will be the same result given for index.jsp colon 8080 the Apache port / project name, that is example1 / the name of the file, that will be menu.html. So we've created this. So it will be redirecting it to a HTML page called menu.html. We've still not created it, so we have to create that and see if it does successfully redirect. So just go to example1, right click again, new HTML file. So similarly as we did before, give the name menu.html. Make sure to not name the same name again and again, goes without saying. So let's not do too much here. Let's just give it as menu, the title, and within the body we'll just print I got here. So that's all that we're going to do in menu.html, and let's just see if it does get there, if we do log in properly. Okay, so username and password. So username, let's just give the correct credentials, root. So it should go there. So we did bypass. Previously you did see it said welcome user and all that, but you don't see that here. Why? It is because we've jumped past that so quickly. We've given the redirect option so quickly that it's gone all the way to menu.html already. So I got here is this place. So we have reached. So this is how you connect multiple HTML pages with one another. So this is the end of the tutorial. So I'll just minimize this. So remember that after you're done with all of this, to stop all the servers that are running. It's not good to be just keeping them running, so just right click on that and say stop. So make sure to stop every server and close everything that you have done. The most important, even the Tomcat that you've put inside the Eclipse, if you don't stop that, that's okay, because when you close Tomcat, that will automatically close on its own, because Tomcat completely is surrounded within Eclipse. So as soon as you close Eclipse, Tomcat isn't going to run. So we just close that. Yeah, and now we have to close the MySQL server. So again, go back to management, startup bar shutdown. Again, click on stop server and click yes. So again, in the same way, it will run shell commands in the background on your behalf to stop it, and as you can see, it has been stopped. Server stop has been executed. So and it is done. You can close this as well. So in that way, we've completely created the login page. And if at all you want to pass any data anywhere, I mean, if you want to save, you want to copy this thing, just go to your workplace and copy the entire project folder. That's it. Thank you.